We're told that diversity is our strength, a vibrant tapestry enriching our communities. But what if this story hides a more complex truth? What if our greatest asset also brings a hidden vulnerability? Imagine a street where neighbours no longer greet each other, or a town where community projects falter, not from conflict, but from apathy. This isn't about animosity, but a quiet erosion of trust that hollows out communities. The real question isn't whether diversity is good or bad, but what its full consequences are. We'll explore surprising research that reveals a counterintuitive phenomenon and follow the lives of ordinary people navigating these new social landscapes. Most disturbingly, we'll see how this fraying of social bonds might be observed and even exploited by powerful interests. Our journey will focus on a single workplace, a microcosm of these tensions. There, people separated by culture and language face a common struggle. Their story holds a key to understanding the hidden architecture of power in our society. Trust is the invisible glue of society, allowing us to cooperate, invest in public goods, and believe in a shared future. When trust is abundant, communities flourish. People volunteer, give to charity, and feel connected. But what happens when trust disappears? In 2007, Harvard's Robert Putnam found that as diversity increased, social trust plummeted. Not just between groups, but within them. Neighbours, leaders, even friends trusted each other less. Theories predicted either harmony or conflict, but Putnam found neither. Instead, people disengaged, hunkering down, and retreating from community life. This raises profound questions. If diversity weakens social connections, how do we build strong societies? The implications touch everything from public schools to our willingness to solve common problems. And where social connection weakens, a vacuum forms, one that certain interests are eager to fill. The story of trust and diversity isn't simple, but its consequences are far-reaching. As we'll see, this vulnerability is not lost on those in power. The next chapter reveals how this dynamic plays out in the real world. At Glenwood, the effects of fading trust become all too clear. Let's take a closer look. Don't forget to like and subscribe now. At the Glenwood Distribution Centre, a diverse workforce sorts packages day and night. Dozens of languages fill the break room. People from all over the world work side by side. On the surface, it's a model of multicultural promise. But beneath, the canteen segregates. Poles with Poles, Salvadorans with Salvadorans, locals with locals. There's no hostility, just polite distance and little real mixing. Each group shares concerns only within their own circles. The result? Complaints about pay and safety remain whispers, never forming a collective voice. The idea of unionizing never gains traction. How do you build solidarity with people you barely know? Management celebrates diversity in newsletters, but does nothing to bridge divides. No events, no forums, just passive maintenance of separation. This quiet division serves the company's interests perfectly. The workforce is fragmented, unable to organize or demand change. Glenwood is a classic case of hunkering down, not in a neighbourhood but at work. The lack of a unified "we" keeps power firmly in management's hands. The consequences are subtle but profound. The Glenwood story isn't just anecdotal, it's backed by data. Putnam's research controlled for poverty, crime and density, but the link remained: more diversity, less trust. In diverse settings, people vote less, volunteer less, give less to charity, and have fewer close friends. They're more likely to agree you can't trust anyone. The social world shrinks, sometimes to just the individual. Economists like Glaser and Alesina found that greater diversity leads to less support for public goods. When people don't see themselves in their neighbours, they're less willing to invest in shared services. This isn't about blaming any group, it's a deeply human tendency. For millennia, we trusted kin and were wary of outsiders. In today's multicultural world, these instincts can trigger withdrawal, not aggression. The result? A defensive crouch, a retreat into the familiar. In diverse environments, that can mean retreating from everyone. This natural tendency to hunker down creates a landscape ripe for corporate exploitation. Fragmented, disconnected workers are easier to manage and less likely to organize. Unionization requires trust and solidarity, both in short supply at places like Glenwood. Management doesn't need aggressive union busting. The workforce is already divided by language and culture. Rumors and mistrust spread easily, further eroding unity. Diversity, publicly celebrated, becomes a tool for maintaining control. Corporations profit from social fragmentation, promoting diversity as virtue while benefiting from division. The result, a workforce that's compliant, cheap, and powerless to demand change. At Glenwood, the pressure mounts as the holidays approach. Amid the grind, Maria, a Salvadoran forklift operator, notices Stefan, an older Polish worker, struggling. She reaches out using a translation app, learning he's working double shifts for his sick wife. Maria brings him coffee, her friends notice, and soon Stefan's group does too. When a confusing safety memo arrives, Maria and Stefan's groups work together to translate it. For the first time, workers from different backgrounds huddle over a shared problem. They're not just colleagues, they're collaborators. Management notices and tries to break up the group, reminding them that break time isn't for meetings. But the seed is planted. The workers have tasted unity, however brief. The atmosphere shifts. A new possibility hangs in the air. Small acts of connection begin to ripple through the warehouse. The first cracks in the wall of division have appeared. The Glenwood story highlights the diversity paradox. Diversity can lower trust and make collective action harder, but it's also a powerful engine for innovation. Research shows diverse teams outperform homogeneous ones on complex tasks thanks to varied perspectives. The same friction that divides can spark creativity. Diversity isn't inherently good or bad. It's a force that needs careful management. The challenge is harnessing the upside while minimizing the downside. Building a new, inclusive we takes effort and intention. Maria and Stefan's story shows it's possible if we create opportunities for real connection. The manager's attempt to break up the group at Glenwood backfires, crystallizing a shared grievance. Maria, Stefan, and others form an unofficial committee, starting with small goals, like a multilingual newsletter and a potluck picnic. Sharing food and stories, workers begin to see each other as people, not just members of different groups. When a Vietnamese worker is fired unjustly, the committee drafts a petition in 5 languages. Maria and Stefan gather signatures across all groups. Over 200 workers sign. They present it as a united front, and management, caught off guard, reinstates the worker. It's a small victory, but seismic in impact. The workers have forged a new, more inclusive we. They overcame the urge to hunker down by building bridges. Their diversity, once a weakness, is now their strength. The Glenwood story shows what's possible when people choose connection over division. Real change begins with small acts of unity. Like and subscribe now.